Good morning. Welcome back to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. Stormy sounds like she's ready to be milked. This is the second morning I will have milked Stormy since weaning her babies off of her. You can probably hear the babies in the background. Everybody's adjusting. Like, I got my test results back for the 4 goats that I sent in for Casein testing, and it was actually really surprising, and I'm glad that I did it. I got your test back, and your test back, Margie's test back, and I also tested one of our bucks, Feral. Feral has a lot of babies due in springtime, so I kind of wanted to know what to expect from his daughters because I plan to keep a lot of them. Stormy! Nope. Nope. Stormy, good girl. Good girl. That's right, good girl. Here we go. Yesterday I came out and milked Stormy first thing. It was 7 a.m. Right now it's 9 a.m. and I'm happy to report that her udder wasn't so super full that it was, you know, hard to get a good grip. Our girl is doing really well on the milk stand. She wasn't really trained prior to kidding, and so now she's gonna act up. Let me give her a little bit more food. She likes to eat the grain pellets around the alfalfa, and she wants more of those. Teddy's down here. You want your snack? Oh, careful. Stay away from her feet. So what I did in order to train Stormy to the milk stand was just bring her up on the stand every day and milk what I could out of her udder, and just the routine of it got her gradually being okay with the whole thing, and she's been doing pretty good. Very nice, soft udder with good orifice size. The milk is coming out really great. Hang on, Chetty, go over there. I'm very pleased with her. Our Stormy comes out of a goat that we had named Barely, who I did sell to a friend. Barely had some pretty small teats, a little bit of a harder udder, not as great capacity. Stormy is a nice improvement, and that's what we look for. Stormy's dad is our buck Havoc. We have a lot of Havoc daughters, and one very consistent thing about Havoc is that he likes to throw capacity as well as softness and a good teat length onto his daughters. So I've loved him for that. We have 3 out of 4 cats vying for milk. I think I'm almost out, y'all. As far as our test results go, we'll come out here and talk about it with the girls, with the goats in question. Miss Elsa here is our highest producer. She'll produce 12 pounds a day in her peak, which is great. That is a large amount of milk. But guess what? She has a low casein count. It's not like it's a bad thing, it just means that she has less of that protein in her milk. So actually she would be a good goat for somebody that has like a milk allergy, because people with allergies, that's what they're allergic to, is the casein. And so we need to get Chloe a snack. Good morning, Chloe. Your face is still orange from that pumpkin. Anyway, like I was saying, casein, or casein, I might be saying it wrong, but casein is the protein that people who are allergic to milk, that's the protein that they're allergic to. So a lot of people say that they can tolerate goat's milk when they can't tolerate cow's milk. Sometimes that's due to the type of protein, which is what people mean when they say that goat's milk is A2. It's all A2 proteins. But then what we have tested for is the quantity of those proteins, because the more proteins that they have in their milk, the more cheese we get. And I love making cheese and all kinds of things with our goat's milk. So Elsa here, even with her high capacity she does have a low volume of casein. But guess what? Clover has a very high level of casein in her milk, which is really, really great. I think I definitely have misspoke in the past. I have said that Clover and Elsa are related. I believe they are distantly related, but they do not share a sire like I had once assumed. I knew someone did. It's actually Elsa and Talia that share a sire. Clover here has the AA casein level, which means she has a high casein output in her milk. Another goat that we tested is our unregistered Margie. I don't know anything about Margie except for where she came from and the fact that she was disease-free when I bought her. She also has a high casein output in her milk. You do! So the reason that I tested the goats to begin with is I had a lot of Elsa milk in the pail throughout the year, and I was making cheeses throughout the year, and the cheeses were okay size. I can usually expect about a pound of cheese per gallon of milk, and I was getting that, but a little bit less sometimes. But the second that Margie came into milk and I started putting a lot more of her in the pail versus Elsa, I noticed that my cheeses were huge. And the only difference with the cheeses was whose milk it was that was in the pail. So I had assumed, wow, Margie must have a higher casein content than Elsa. And it's really cool to not only see that in the cheese, but see that in the science as well. What we did in order to test their milk was pull out a few hairs. It's a little bit more than a few. It's 30 to 40 hairs by the root. And then we sent that in to be tested. The reason it has to come out by the root is because that's where the DNA is. It's on those root bulbs. Are you ready to get down? She's like, you left me here with the cats. This is not where I want to be. Go, sweet girl. I'll get you later, okay? And here are our three lovely bucks. We have Feral, Mooch, and Nefarious. Feral here is the one that we used most this fall, and he's the one who's going to have the most daughters born this spring as a consequence. And so I tested his casein to see kind of what we could expect. I knew that we had a higher chance with him because his mom has a really good casein test and his dad had a moderately okay casein test. And I wanted to see what gene he inherited from his dad, essentially. And I'm happy to report Feral also has a high casein output in his genes. Obviously, he's not a milker, but he passes on those genetics, and his daughters should be very cheesy. These two guys are the next to be tested because I'd really like to know what they're all about. Yeah. Y'all are making me very stinky and pretty early in the morning. I don't think I really signed up for this. But yeah, the test was very simple. We pulled some hairs out of their hind ends and sent it in to UC Davis through the MDGA. You can even send in unregistered goat hairs to be tested. That's what I did with Margie, and it was really fast. I think it was just a couple of weeks that I had to wait from pulling the samples, sending them in until I got the results in my email. So the last time Stormy was milked was 3 p.m. yesterday. So this is about an 18-hour hold for her, and it looks like we are getting just below the 2.5 cup mark. Yesterday I got just below the 3 cup mark. Really, that's what I hope for when I'm milking my Nigerians once a day. Now, when I milk her later, I will get more milk, and it will probably fill up this whole quart jar, which is awesome. But when you have a little bit less demand on your doe, she will produce a little bit less. I find that my does produce about 30% less when milked once a day compared to being milked twice a day. So let's say, just to make the math easier, if I got 3 cups a day from a doe, milking her twice a day, I could expect about 2 cups a day if I took her down to once a day milking. So she's doing good. She's on her first freshen, and they usually only get better from here. Cheers. Day 13. We're on this side now. go, another gift. This one obviously is in a different color. Our first gift was Christmas colors, green and red. And that's our advent calendar for today. I have a video where I showed how I pulled hair to do the genetic testing for the goats. It was pretty recent, but if you missed it, I'll put it up here. And also here's a video of how we make our cheeses. It's a Colby.